Afternoon, guys. So a lot of you have asked me to put together a video of some of the models that I put together. Most of you all know that these are off-the-shelf models predominantly, that then get altered by me with lights and screens and various different bits and pieces using different microcontrollers. So I use a mix of Arduino small boards mixed in with some LEDs. I've recently started with a Raspberry Pi for the larger screen that you can see at the back, which we'll come on to in a minute, for the Stobart Teletubby. But just to show you the variation and the range that I've been doing over the past few years, not without support from various different communities on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and that seems to have taken off more recently. So I'm just trying to get myself up to date with some of these platforms and get some content out and share this. There's been a lot of love for the most of the models that I do. Orders coming in left, right and Charlie for these, which is great to see. They do take a little bit of time to build, and I do this as well as a full-time job, so they don't always get done as quickly as I would like sometimes, but the end result is really pleasing. So you can see, if I just pan around a little bit, some of the models that I've been working on over the past sort of 2 years really. And these have different ranges of technologies in, from a simple microcontroller that just controls lights, all the way up to stuff that is controlled via an infrared remote, which I'll show you in a minute. So this is going to go on a couple of different Facebook pages, so apologies if you are interested in a particular type of model. I'm going to cover everything in one video, and feel free to ask questions if you want any more details on anything. I'll show you each one of these and what they do. This is not my usual sort of bread and butter doing videos and stuff like this, so apologies if anything's a little bit blurry, or you need some clarification on anything and I miss something or speak too quickly. Just trying to cover off everything in a video that kind of covers everything that I do. So if we start on the left hand side with the Scania McLeod lorry, so that is infrared install on just the cab, nothing on the trailer, and that has just headlights on it, and it has indicators as well, which you probably can't see that well in the daytime, but they do work, and they work on the back of the cab as well. So that's just a nice to have if you've got that somewhere sat on your layout. The best thing about all of these models is none of them are wired in. They've all got internal batteries, and that's one of the things that I wanted to achieve when I started putting these models together. Was I wanted them to be posable, anywhere on a layout. So they've each got a LiPo battery installed with a charger installed in 99% of them, so it's just a case of charging them up and putting them anywhere on the layout. So this is the underneath of the McLeod cab. So the installs on these have got slightly better over the years, and everything's hidden. If you were to put the cab up the right way, you can't see anything there, but it can get a little bit convoluted underneath, and this is the bit that takes the time. This is a relatively simple install with just the headlights and the indicator lights running on there, but as you start to get more complex, it does take quite a lot of time to wire those through into the microcontroller, trying to find space for everything, the battery, the charge board, and the infrared receiver if it's got one as well. So next on to the left over here is the quite recently released bin lorries from Oxford Diecast. These are spectacular, and what I've done is a couple of these so far. I did a biffer with a light install, and then I've done the Viola one, or Veolia one, more recently, and this one's got it's got one more trick than the biffer lorry. So it's got headlights on this one, it's got indicators on this one as well, but as you can see, this one's got a screen installed on it which says caution, operatives at rear. Now on the camera it really doesn't show very well because it when you're recording an LED screen, it picks up the PWM rate, and I can get pictures and I could do some videos, but it takes quite a while to get the lighting right. And as today's not the brightest of days, it is struggling. So that doesn't normally flash the way that it does. It does flash on and off every few seconds, like it would on the real thing. This one is kitted out with the beacon lights as well. So this is something that you see on the bin lorry as it comes to collect your rubbish every week. So we've got lights on the back and lights on the front. So Chris did a video of my Biffle one a couple of weeks ago on his layout that's looking fantastic. That grows every time I look at it, so it's great to see that he's got the diecast models on there, as well as some railway stuff running as well. So if you check out his channel, he's Christopher James. Then we have some mobile video units at the back. Now these were put together more recently, so one's in primer and one's just in print off the 3D printer. So these use a Hino cab from Shedring. So I use a number of different places to supply my diecast stuff. So Shedring is one of them because they stock the best amount of Tiny HK. And I've got a couple of those models, and I'll show you those in a minute, as well as the Oxford stuff. And then this one's had a complete recab. So I've taken the cab and the chassis off and put my own body on the back, which houses a 1.44 inch LED screen, which is connected, runs off an Arduino, and it is running a couple of ads at the moment. So these are things that you would see driving around doing promotions in city centres and at festivals and things like that. So at the moment I've got again a couple of videos running on here for companies that I use for my installs, both on the railway and in the diecast world as well. So you'll see that Rose and Rouse is there. So I speak to Rich over there quite a lot. Super helpful with regards to anything DCC sound orientated. He's helped me out a number of different times with various different projects, and hopefully I've been able to do the same in return as well. You can see on that one that it's got Model Bus Doctor, so quite early into the bus phase of my installs. Speak to Patrick Mumford, Paul Coley, and Matt Hill on that particular group. They got me involved in that as they saw some of the railway stuff that I was doing initially with the TPE Mark 5s and the Caledonian Sleeper Mark 5s with regards to screens. That's something I want to get back into as well. So the layout that you can see, or the diorama, however you whichever variation you like to use, is made by Matt Hill. So this is a standard sort of setup from Matt, using a similar style baseboard. This one's actually of the Alexander Dennis factory in the background, and I'll come on to it a little bit later, but you've got some ADs over the back there, which I'll come on to. The smaller vehicles at the front, so as I said earlier, these are all posable. So these have all got batteries installed, so they are chargeable, fully posable. And so you'll see on Christopher James's setup that he's been able to mimic a police chase that's been going on where they've pulled a car over, and it looks really good because you've got proper flashing lights with the flash sequences that do mirror the one-to-one counterparts. So this one here, which is an ordnance unit, mobile ordnance unit, has a click button on the bottom, so I can change the flash sequence on the beacon bar at the top. So you can see that was doing a Night Rider, and now it's doing a flash on the front and back. So that gives you, again, a variation on what you can have as part of the light setup. It means that you don't have to have the same thing 2 days running. If you look at the fire safety car, again, it's a push button that then will allow you to change the flash sequence on the light bar at the top. Slightly simpler setup this time round with the front with the flashing lights. They always go flashing lights and they're alternate, so that again they've got the right flash rates on the headlights as they do to the beacon lights as well. So The next one's quite interesting. So it's a Tiny HK. It's not something that's used massively in the UK, probably more in Germany, but it is a right-hand drive on this one. Is the yellow sign truck. So I've wired this up that the arrow to the right and the beacons at the top have different flash rates. Again, by clicking the button on top, you'll be able to get different flash sequences. So it gives you, again, variation wherever you place these. Hopefully that's, there you go. So again, it gives you a little bit of play value on the layout of the diorama. The next one's Prince William's Range Rover. This one's got a slightly different setup in. Isn't quite finished because you can still see parts of it on show. So I'm just 3D printing the top for the seats, so that which will hide all of the gubbins underneath. But you'll see on this one that I'm able to turn off the headlights on this one via an IR remote. Pop them back on and change the flash sequences as well. So I can I can't remember which numbers are on this. I've turned them off now. There you go. So it's got slightly different flash sequences. Not all of them are true to life. The first one you'll probably find is most relevant. That one just does the grille, and then you can turn on the other ones as well. Now the IR remote that I'm using does play up with the camera because my camera's got an IR transmitter in it as well, which is also doing something when I'm recording video. So we'll come back to that one. I mentioned earlier around the remote that I use. So it's a simple Arduino based remote that is fairly simplistic. So I use this remote for everything that I do. And the numbers generally are the destinations on the bus boards. Up is usually headlights, down is usually hazards, left right is for indicators as well. But there's a few different functions depending on what the vehicle is. So the bin lorry doesn't have some of the functions. It does have the screen, but it doesn't have some of the others as well. So you can see that I've actually turned the bin lorry screen off because I've been clicking things for other. So it's actually programmed to do other bits and pieces. So there you go. You can see that's come back on. I'll just try and get a close up of that as well. Yeah, that's probably worse on the flash rate. I'll see if I can get some better pictures, but I've posted some up more recently. So the Teletubby, again, has been recabbed and redesigned. So this is a Raspberry Pi setup with a pixel screen that's a very, very good quality. So you can see on here that I've got some adverts running. And I've created some adverts via one of the digital platforms that is similar to a slideshow PowerPoint presentation, but is actually in a video format. So it will run any video format, and you can't see via the phone, but it's super clear as well. So that screen is pretty close to what you would have on the real Teletubby. The cab isn't something you'd see on the Teletubby today. It's been recabbed. But it gives you an idea, and again, these can be placed at things like Truckfest, festivals. You can use them for promotion stuff if you've got a layout or diorama as well. So that's something that's most recent. Still going through the setup on that to try and get it to do auto video, so I don't have to do any config when I start it up. But yeah, then one of the smallest screens that you'll see is this one here. So this is a static advertising board. Now this one's built into the bus stop. I do freestanding ones as well, which I've given a few away for people to try, and also sold a few as well. So this will run similar to the other setup. It will run any video. This one does take a little bit of setting up to do. I set up the videos, convert the formats, and put them into the right sort of order, and then they will play as they go along. But this looks a lot better in real life than it does. It's not that easy to capture via the phone, but in real life these screens are super sharp. You can see it running there, a few ads. Alexander Dennis, because it was 10 years of It might have been more than that, it might have been 25 years, I'll come back to that. But you can see that it's just running in the background, it's really fluid, and it's really clear as well. So that will run a video as well. So that at the moment it's going through a bit of a slideshow PowerPoint presentation thing, which I've put together. Oh, there you go, it's 20 years of Alexander Dennis. So it's obviously quite apt that it's by this depot and by this factory. So I'll come back to that in a minute. If it runs, it's got a couple of different boards on there that are running in the background, so I'll see if I can show you some videos of that running a video as well. So what most of you have picked up on over the back is a couple of ADLs that are parked up. So these are custom painted by Patrick Munford a little while ago, and have had decals by John Atwood, who is one of the best decal engineers, designers, printers around, and I was given his name by Paul Coley over at the NBF. As you can see, I know these are going to be on general release from Northcord in January time, if they make it over on time. So these are a really good prequel of what's to come. I know they've been really popular. I've ordered a few as well for installs as well. So I'm just going to put the phone down slightly because you'll be able to see a bit better if I let go of the phone. So these are LED screens that are set up and configured with various different destinations. So I designed these, I put them on so they can be any design within the 128/32 LED matrix, and you can see there that I've put a couple of B Network ones on there with regards to the launch that they had initially. There's a Lest We Forget, which was back in November, for the bits and pieces that I did for that as well. And then you can have normal destinations on them as well. So these are demo ones. So these have got some Brighton and Hove destinations on that I did for a couple of different buses more recently. So you've got Devil's Dyke on there, Palace Pier. You've got a rail replacement. So what happens is if there's more information, the boards will run through a sequence. So you press the number on the remote, it will then take you through and it will run through the sequence. So in this case, it's two sequences. So the GX, there's Gatwick Express, and then the rail replacement with their pictorial part as well. Again, hand drawn, so you can kind of come up with any designs on this as well. We've got a Thameslink one on there as well. We've got a Southern one as well, and then we've got just a 409 Ashton on there as well, which is just what I've been playing around with in the background. Again, demo wise. What else have we got on these? So the one at the back is in build at the moment. So this is a longer ADL. It's been converted to a coaster or an open topper, and again this one's just got the screen install in, so you can see it's just got a front screen install in. This one has lights as well, so if I can get it to run, you can see just in the middle there, in the top, you can see that it's got lights on, and they're very low key, and they just, again, of an evening when the lighting's a little bit lower, just allows you to have something that's a little bit different on your diorama and your layout. So these ones, the ADLs, they are configured with various different bits and pieces. These ones both have rear screens in as well, so again, not configured on all of the boards we've got there, but you can see, if I can get that to load, you can see there on the right hand side B, again it doesn't flash, that's a PWM being picked up from the camera. You can see that you can have the B logo, and you can have numerics on these rather than full-size boards. I haven't configured these ones at the moment, but it gives you an idea. These ones have got indicators on as well. I've just, again, using the same remote, they've just picked up different flash rates because they've picked up the signal at different times. And if we look at the front of that one and the back of that one, you can see that, again, it just gives everything a little bit of an atmosphere, and headlights on these as well. So these do take a number of days to build in and around the day job as well, so they aren't quick to do. Even with the ones that are coming off the shelf, they still need drilling, cutting, installing, and you'll find that most of the installs that I do replace the interiors with a 3D printed one, because I need the space between the decks to hide all of the technology. But if I pull this one forwards, you'll see that you know, to the untrained eye, you won't see any of the technological bits that are hiding in here until, you know, you see the receiver for the lights, which is just behind that first window, so just where the luggage rack is. You won't see anything else in there that you wouldn't normally get in there, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to do it rather than hack up the original interiors. I've raised the floor slightly. You can still put people in there, you can still make a bit of a, you know, an ambient scene with people in there as well, but it hides everything that's there, so it's a nice sort of clean install as well. So hopefully that gives you a good insight as to what I've been working on more recently. Lots going on, there's always lots going on, there's loads of queries coming at the moment, so I don't respond to messages quickly. I do apologise. It is very, very busy at the moment, and there's lots of interest in these items as well, so I do struggle to get back to everyone as quickly as what they would like. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a good overview. You got any queries or questions, do drop me a message. I will come back to you as quickly as I can. Shout outs to a couple of people, so Paul Coley, Matt Hill, Christopher James, for their help via sort of MBF, a couple of the retailers, definitely Shedring, Road and Rouse, Bunter's Yard I've been spending a lot of time talking to as well with regards to some of the things that we've got going on here as a bit of a collaboration. I'm sure there are more that I've forgotten, so apologies. I'll put you in the next video. See you again soon. Cheers, bye.